good morning. My name is Anthony Wall. New Britain Superior Court, other on-off state judicial branch offices, various natures of police, prosecutors, the police that work for those courts, interbranch, private, intercampuses, are recorded, confessed, and demonstrated involved with database racketeering. They're also recorded, confessed, and demonstrated involved. These are people involved with trade center predicate acts, further worse than interstate. Now, they have a man named Pettis with a ponytail. I believe that's the same man associated with New Britain Superior Court when I was in there before. And he's also recorded with Alex Jones and with the family members of the Sandy Hook victims recorded, confessed, and demonstrated involved with all the people involved with that. These are doctors also involved with child sex offenders. These are people involved criminally with the principal sex offender, his campus. They're criminally involved with computers, computer policing, setting up evidence so they can pretend to perceive things and make mistakes. They're also recorded, confessed, and demonstrated involved with the prisons associated with them, all the positions with the prisons involved with them with racketeering. First, with racketeering at all the different departments at the campuses and criminal uses of the campuses themselves, and criminal uses recorded of the on-off campuses, how they moved the private police or wherever, like with the CCSU off campus. And then they have they have an on-off campus racketeering method with fact treatment nature, where everyone's speaking through other people and they're confessing, demonstrating, recording, and communicating other than they're actually saying. So they want to speak about their specific words, but they have recorded tied to that 4G names, switching names, sequence shifts, confessions, demonstrations of that truth. Then they pretend not to see it. They're making confessions, and then they tell you to wait. And then they're 4G names and switching names. No, state's attorneys, a whole bunch of people on off the state judicial branch, all along that route, all the way from there through Wethersfield, through Rocky Hill, and all the way into Cromwell. That's many names involved with racketeering with them. People that I only know in life because they came up to me. I never tried to contact them. They made confessions about this. There's a Zano family. Further, people with businesses and houses next to the middle school with them involved with foreign and domestic drug clicks. A John Maiano with WFSB, with state prosecutors, 4G names, switching names. A Christine Bedard, Christine Cadet. This fortunate switching names with the name, first name Christine. They have a Phil Colo and other people involved with them racketeering with houses in my area, with child sex offenders, families with other natures of racketeering with them. Connected. Now the connections are there. These are people with racketeering roles with federal criminal code defendants. A former director of the FBI also involved criminally here in 2006. So they're also recorded, confessed, and demonstrated criminal uses of depositions leading up to that in 2006 Connecticut case. These are people involved with racketeering, further involved with proven post-dated documents shown to the Ninth Circuit right before the Trade Center attack. Had been post-dated from inside the Ninth Circuit to appear late. Now these are right before the Trade Center attack. The Ninth Circuit is a court right next to the Trade Center in Washington, in Connecticut. I mean, in New York, Manhattan. And see, now these are people also before that and since they've been involved with racketeering with Washington, D.C. People associated with Patton Boggs, former director of the FBI, Robert Luskin, his lawyer, Robert Cheverry, places along where his lawyer's office was or is on Farmington Avenue, along there with the people from my town involved with them criminally through time. A whole bunch of people tied to a John Maiano with the racketeering with prosecutors, state police, and prosecutors, state's attorneys also. The whole state's attorney's office is recorded individually, grouped, and together involved with racketeering originally and still. Now, when they have fact treatments about the problems that go on and off campus, they're leaving this out of it. They're leaving out how they have, racketeering roles and uses and methods that are keeping the criminally foreign influenced state police. A whole bunch of state police tied to Eric Olson and Matt Olson. I never had one conversation with them. They tried to film other off when I was in high school on Zion Street in Hartford, right next to Trinity College. There are houses and locations. There's a fire department near there with a whole bunch of people, like with an Aiello family, recorded, confessed, and demonstrated racketeering with a whole bunch of people tied to him. That from my grade, that I never had classes with like him, who have racketeering roles with a person who came into my grade when I was in fourth grade, came into my school, but I never had a class with him in grammar school. A Ray Clow, and a Joe DeMauro. They hung out and they recorded, confessed, and demonstrated involved with racketeering off campuses that is connected to on off campuses racketeering with a gold for former Mayor Gold. Whole bunch of people associated with them. Now there's also a Jordan Brown, a Hanson family, and there's a house at the corner of Church Street in Old Wethersfield, Church Street and Main Street in Old Wethersfield, right around the corner from the Webb House / Webb Stevens House Museum, where George Washington had to come, even with his French generals' help, had to leave avert slavery right before the last battle of the Revolutionary War. Now we have a whole bunch of child offenders here, people pretending to be against that. The Wethersfield police chief, his daughter, is recorded, confessed, and demonstrated by other police associated with them and by what is actually recorded. She's involved with her extended family members too, like the owners of Mazzucato Bakery. Albrino Mazzucato is reportedly her husband. Now, and his brother and sister and their mother are also recorded, confessed, and demonstrated involved with a whole bunch of people like Fred Grisette. And with Facebook racketeering, where we're using Facebook evidences for sequence shifts, they're using it for racketeering. These are racketeering uses of courts and cases through time. These are Sandy Hook prison stewardships, the training of prison stewardships and their family members on off CCSU involve racketeering in a straight line leading up to the Trade Center attack and since it with Connecticut. Now there were a whole bunch of people directly and indirectly tied to this Hanson family and the racketeering with Church Street in Old Wethersfield at the house at the corner too, Church Street and Main Street, and then that if you follow that goes straight right through Wethersfield, right to CCSU. All along that route are people involved with them through time, recorded, confessed, and demonstrated racketeering. Now these are strangers that make confessions and demonstrations out of nowhere. And then they have that exploited, but then they never live. They're not giving anyone a means to speak, and then they're attaching everyone to fake words, fake sequence shifts, fake relationships to others, fake locations. They've been attaching little kids to fake locations through time. The judges, and prosecutors. There are long-standing prosecutors and more recently standing, recorded, confessed, and demonstrated tied to a Soulsby and to a Brian Silver, also recorded, confessed, and demonstrated with people that have been stacking a falsified evidence racketeering with them. I never had personal conversation with them. They're recorded, confessed, and demonstrated a whole bunch of women, states, attorneys, and stuff like that, forging names, switching names with judges, making confessions, and then using that time to pretend we said things and to hide what was actually said, to hide their confessions. So they're communicating other than they're actually saying, and they're asking for evidences criminally because they know this is actually recorded. For example, even over Facebook, we have the New Britain Superior Court Facebook page involved with rape threats and sexual harassment and other natures of abuses of the kids of a grammar school, of the youngest kids, as the same ones recorded and confessed and demonstrated involved with racketeering with houses next to each of the campuses connected in city and intercities through time connected. Now these are people also racketeering all along the route from Glastonbury over the bridge, the house at the end of it, an Oliveri family, recorded, confessed, and demonstrated a whole bunch of people with UPS sought me out to demonstrate this. And then when I was older, before I went to get a work there, they recorded, confessed, demonstrated, confirmed it. Now, they don't know the extent of where they confirmed. These are people involved with racketeering with a Joshua Stryker and a Joshua Julian, further with the child sex offenders. Also with overt criminal enterprises, Joshua Julian pretending lies about my father with people already proven through time racketeering with other nations. We have a whole bunch of shared policing with like job sites and we have overt criminal enterprises juxtaposed. And then we have all that sick with that originally instilled, because these are people with on and off campuses, vertical and horizontal database racketeering, where they effectively exploit their crimes with databases in years earlier down the road and off campuses. They're maintaining polarities between people. They're maintaining a method of communications where people are pretending, oh, this is theater. This we're gonna act like this when bad things happen, when good things. These are people are fake. These are people pretending other people are liars before they're prosecutors to imply they know them, to imply they had conversations with them. They also recorded, confessed, and demonstrated effectively, consciously, sickly, criminally, stacking the amounts of names having to be used by individuals who can't get a response. It's recorded, confessed, and demonstrated by Wethersfield police. If I call up, they're going to keep making more things up, as they did to force the principal sex offender got caught anyway. There are further then and now. There's a Phil Collo and is a Scalora family, also recorded, confessed, and demonstrated racketeering with houses in my area that are also involved as ones with racketeering in and out of the Trade Center attack location. And since, with the investigators also involved with predicate acts, a Leahy family. These are doctors, a whole doctors of psychology with badges and stuff like that associated with them, forging names, switching names, faking conversations with me. They use mental triage. I mean, triage places, Hartford Hospital, other hospitals that anyone was in. They put fake people into those databases, and in other words, tied to these sick crimes, not by accident. Now, the WFSB's recorded, confessed, and demonstrated racketeering roles with Farmington, Simsbury houses, and people associated with this Pettis guy, who's a lawyer involved with the New Britain Superior Court with them. So they have fake sides of difference. They have lawyers pretend, oh, we're just doing our job. That's the way the process works. We have statutes originally still recorded this way: criminally foreign influence, delusions, raw, and that exploited. Now, see, not by accident. Those are fact cheating. Those are reliant upon bad things in the world. You know what I'm saying? So this is right through the Obama administration too, where they have these are people involved with criminal uses of values like black, like white, which is a differential relationship to our Trinity. In other words, if you're lying about human value to benefit or to hurt white or black, you're getting over on the Trinity. You're not. We are volume. We are a nature of volume that is simultaneously gaining as an order to the finite. And note with sequence true simultaneously. Those are two natures of positive. Semi-natures connected. So is the active. So is what is active, active nature value. So is what is progressive. And so is further identity's value, which is, it's all right if you want to debate things, but this is recorded. See, we have people debating who want to debate criminally, forging names, switching names, the stacking names. The stacking names is recorded. They're recorded in the British Superior Court. Other natures of court, retired and standing, the judges, their pleas, their families, recorded, confessed, and demonstrated. They were recorded, communicating consciously. They stack the names of strangers consciously, criminally, to pretend that means something. Oh, look, all the people that deny him say things, but they can't put it on paper. And when they do, when they say other that paper they did, they know it's recorded criminally for. They already used it criminally. These are people involved with mail crimes, wire crime, whole methods. Now they have criminal uses of witness protection program also. Remember, former director of the FBI, former standing chairperson on Racketeering, Influence and Corrupt Organization Act, Robert Luskin, his lawyer, Robert Chevalier, whole bunch of federal criminals of his. Three of them confessed with direct and indirect racketeering roles with drug cliques in my area that are the ones involved with New Britain Superior Court, with fire departments, foreign and domestic. We have Russian families with fire departments and associated with this Leahy family, and with a whole bunch of doctors that forged names, switched names, fake conversations with me, made all kinds of confessions to me. Then they pretend that and you have no statements. They pretend that stuff is real. They pretend that you have physical delusions when these are people with physical delusions and all kind of sick natures actually recorded. They have their whole drug cliques, sexual circles. These are people with sexual circles, also with the leaderships of Sandy Hook, the training of them through, and their family members involved on and off CCSU with racketeering, keeping them criminally foreign influenced, keeping them needing to hide the same sequence shifts, finite, active, and progressive lies and identity racketeering lies with their criminals because they were involved with them criminally since before they were caught, like the principal sex offender, like the serial killer, involved with the same people, intercities, racketeering acts roles, as one's interstates further involve racketeering uses of their jobs and positions and relationships to people with jobs and positions with the trade center and with roots. They have all along roots involved with them with racketeering. Now, so you have a crime method of preventing people free speech, like with WFSB, attach me to a fake location. They attach little kids to fake locations with courts, with judges, with prosecutors, with state's attorneys involved criminally. They have a DACA program recorded, confessed, and demonstrated that was used in the past per their motivations that had them recorded needing to hide life progressions now. Fake conversations, fake they're putting people that aren't even in classes with each other, don't even know each other, don't even know the names of each other a lot of times from the same grade, and they're having everyone speak through other people, and this is tied to them recorded consciously criminally with words like hearsay, playing tricks with reality. These are high criminals with evidences originally and still. That's what criminally foreign influenced branches of government were left here by our founders to demonstrate what was entrenched as the means to keep this all juxtaposed to motivations, natures, needs, interests, real but ulterior from what has them roles with that incapable of countering what exploits it. So then they're kept with strangers needing to hide the same sequence shifts, active, progressive, and greater identity, inherent in greater identity lies. These are five bonded semi-natures of positive. Simultaneously, distinctly and non-distinctly, as science reveals, there are also three bonded semi-natures of positive, which the Trinity is about. And see, by bonded by one identity, that is the value of those three of the Trinity and of the five semi-natures simultaneously, distinctly and non-distinctly. And that is how it is self-generating. That is how identity is increasing nature of value as a nature of volume. Now, see, only the extent of that is debatable, but we have things being debated offensively, criminally. We have the sensibilities of campuses and of professors also recorded involved with the racketeering with overt criminal enterprises and through time, with military, foreign, and domestic, with criminal justice racketeering with New York City tied to a Jack Heitner, tied to a whole bunch of people with CCSU through time, through each of the departments used criminally. Other professor, I don't even remember his name. People associated with Luigi Guerrera, his sister. I never had a conversation with his sister. She's recorded, confessed, and demonstrated police forms associated with Rocky Hill High School. Also, there are women tied to there are officers forging, switching names. They admitted, confessed, and demonstrated they only have one officer named McGee, but they've been forging, switching names with him and racketeering with him intercities, with further child offenders with the campuses, further criminal uses of everyone's names, each age of fact cheaping nature. These people also racketeering uses of elderly homes, with my new and past neighbors further involved with the child sex offenders, also with the Dillon family, with military, foreign, and domestic involved criminally. Sean Dillon, Kevin Dillon, Anna Dillon. Anna Dillon and my new and past neighbors also recorded, confessed, involved with racketeering with various natures of courts and their police forms and people associated with them on off Park Street and on uses of people on off Lena's Pizza. And there's like a tiki bar there. And these are people recorded, confessed, and demonstrated also racketeering roles with a Cuddy family, a whole bunch of Cuddy brothers and their family associated with forensics cliques, or with my new and past neighbors involved with racketeering with them. I never saw them in my area. I never had a conversation with the Cuddy brothers in my life. And you know they're recorded confessed also by a whole bunch of people on and off the state judicial branch offices, on and off the state prison offices involved with racketeering with them. Now they have this Pettis guy also recorded, confessed, and demonstrated by WFSB and by the Britain Superior Court. I think that's the same guy that they were talking about. Either way, the WFSB is recorded, confessed, and demonstrated racketeering with a whole bunch of other people tied to the house in my area with the criminals, with the kids further, intercampuses, further with the principal sex offender then and now, criminally further. His patient, his doctors, and his prison staffs and courts tied to that were already involved with the racketeering leading up to that. Racketeering uses of depositions with former director of the FBI, a whole bunch of federal criminals, foreign and domestic military police recorded, confessed, and demonstrated. Influence to pretend to record things, influence to pretend to act things so they can pretend to perceive things, like Eric Burgess, his mother, the fire department next to his house, their house near the mall, West Farms Mall, mall. Also, the shared policing of locations like that, and locations like near that real or made up the serial killer body dumping spot. That person in that location also recorded, confessed, and demonstrated with those people, with other military families involved with the racketeering, identity thefts, falsified police reports, and stuff like a Justin Klavinskis. Also recorded, confessed, and demonstrated involved racketeering with various natures of Russian families, like a Peruta family. Recorded, confessed, and demonstrated with them with racketeering with houses around the area of the Samuel Dix house, as ones involved criminality and racketeering on and off the middle school, the high school, as the ones further involved with the principal sex offenders campus, further involved criminal with the news, attached me to fake words and locations, force that. WFSB is recorded and confessed and demonstrated involved also with interbranch online police with sex crime roles, pretend as the ones pretending to be against that stuff. Also with the military police, further in the domestic, as those ones. Also, like people, a whole bunch of people, men and women tied to Eric Burgess, recorded, confessed, and demonstrated. He confirmed that they were influenced to pretend things were recorded, and they made confessions about their racketeering roles with Hartford courts and with the Britain Superior Court. These are ones that were racketeering leading up to and in the Trade Center attack contact. In a straight pattern, they won't give me a response. They asked me for help for this. I'm not a cop. Now these are I didn't explain to them that these are people involved also leading up to and in 2006 case. Defendant, former director of the FBI in his defendant capacities. I was involved with these racketeering with WFSB, with Fox Connecticut News, WTNH, involved intercity, New Britain, the leasing agents of the places of the intercities of like a Phil Colo, Justin Levinskis has military police with other ones like the Eric Burgess, recorded, confessed, and demonstrated that their family members and that military police are involved with racketeering with them, with the various natures of judges. Again, forging names, switching names, roles with prosecutors too. They make confessions. They're forging names, switching. There's a whole bunch of Officer McGee's. They say they have one, but then they confess they only have one, but they have other switching guys' names. So in other words, they're communicating threats, confessions. They're communicating other than they actually communicated. They can't put anything on paper. There's an officer Poison. There are a whole bunch of state police, even with their daughters, with one involved with houses in my area with police forms, foreign and domestic, as their neighbors involved. See, everyone wants to speak through other people. That's all right. Put something on paper. Don't steal my words, WFSB. You guys are so many natures of crimes at once. We need the Attorney General here. We need federal stewardships of Connecticut. We need federal stewardships interstate because these are people involved with interstate crime acts, not just Hartford and Connecticut. This is with criminal uses of cases in Washington leading up to those, and everyone's cases. These are people that are sick, from my town. There's a Christine Bedard Tardet. They have women that are associated with the Britain Superior Court have they should not be there. They're worse than a danger to people. They're worse than a danger. They have to be removed from there. And you have to who disbelieves. Right? If you want to debate, put one name and sequence on. This is all recorded. They're having cases where they know what's actually recorded. They're hiding it because they need to have the wrong outcomes, because they need to hide lie progressions, because they need to hide their actually recorded natures. They need to keep the the correlation nature as a trinity worse than obfuscated. There's a Joe DeMoro, a Ray Colo, and his Kerr family recorded, confessed, and demonstrated racketeering together with various overt criminal enterprises, judges through time, prosecutors, the ones involved here criminally. Now, these are people also pretending to be against that, recorded criminally. These aren't people with badges legitimately. These are people that fake conversations with people because the courts already were doing that. Now they have to hide lie progressions. Now they have to people pretend delusions through time, vertically and horizontally. They have people I don't even know from the past, like a Joshua Julian pretending other, with child sex offenders further. These are people further involved with the Agman family, with foreign and domestic military, and doctors of psychology involved with also overt gangs, drugs, criminal with the kids. As one of the houses around the Samuel Dix house, criminally involved, racketeering. There's also a Pandolf family recorded, confessed, and demonstrated through time involved racketeering with judges, clicks, and like locations on all Fox Connecticut News. Also, his racketeering roles with people that also made confessions and recorded their racketeering roles with locations next to Fox Connecticut, next to WFSB. Now, these are also leasing agents intercities connected with racketeering and with like a Justin Levinskis with a military police form family involved with racketeering, with child sex offenders, with identity thefts, mail crimes, wire crimes, forging names, switching names, spreading categorical lies. They make these little punks pretend they're play because they have each age of boys and girls. You know, before the mature, they're exploiting that with a racketeering method that keeps everyone self-valued roles with the obfuscation of correlation nature's identity, which is a trinity, which is important because they put fake sides of correlation nature. They make fake sides of issues, and they have those issues treated with physical delusions, which is important. In other words, they make sides where there are none. There are three. There's what is true, inherent, active, and progressive. And these are sequence shifts where they can hold groups to it because the only nature of communications they're allowing with investigators criminally is what's not true. They're asking, the police ask, they're recorded, confessed with Officer Poisey and other ones. They ask hypothetical questions, and then they pretend to perceive the answer means something else about reality. And then they charge people to never let them speak so they can force the family members hurt also of the kids they're abusing. Again, on and off campus, this is sustained ways too. It's not just sexual. They have a whole bunch of racketeering. There are a whole bunch of women with psychology and interbranch involved with racketeering with child sex offenders. They all pretend they have integrity because they speak through men that are sick punk fakes as recorded. That's not personal. Now they have this Pettis guy. I never had a conversation with him. They have a whole bunch of people associated with Gail King, involved with the racketeering with CBS. These are racketeering roles with uses of color, pretending to be against, pretending to care for color. You don't care for, you care logistic. We have a logistical impositions, and way worse than that, for sustain and juxtapose a whole bunch of fake liars, pretending fake care, fake righteous justice upon the north end of Hartford, for example, let alone upon the people stacking in New York City. New York City, there's a Fred Grisey who also sought me out a bunch of times to confess. I'm not a bunch. I don't know that much in the past. Now he's also involved, recorded, confessed, and demonstrated. Um, Modern Pastry is also has communications with people about me. I never had a communication with them personally about this. I've walk in the business, say hello, nice day, no, nothing unusual. These people are involved with the Wethersfield police chief, with this Phil Collo, and Fred Grisey, and other people recorded, confessed, and demonstrated interstates involved racketeering with Justice Department with cases already. As people involved further with Trade Center predicate acts. Then they have these punk games you know, with the policing of online, where they have Facebook involved with child sex offenders further then and now. The policing, we have the CIA, the FBI involved uses of New Britain Superior Court's Facebook page with a whole bunch of a whole bunch of accounts named KNER with the name. And they have a Jerry Miller. And then they also start fights with little weird people, because then if you respond to them trying to act like they're not complete creeps, they pretend you're bullying and things like that. You have to see what's actually recorded as the men and women interbranch. Sick. Now give me a response for them. Interbranch. Let's go. Let's go. WFSB is recorded, confessed, and demonstrated involved crimes on off with the Sandy Hook in Newtown, with various natures of courts also involved with them criminally. There's a prison clique. There's a prison there, that school there in Sandy Hook, Newtown, that has an O'Brien family also recorded, confessed, and demonstrated racketeering with the ones in my area involved with the state police with that criminally, with Officer Poison, with the Wethersfield police chief, his daughter's extended family members. Again, this Mazzucato family with the Mazzucato Bakery on Franklin Avenue, the bakery, Modern Pastry, recorded, confessed, to demonstrate also with by a Fred Grisey. He was involved with like drugs and stuff like that. They used to abuse girls. They lied to them behind their backs. Ray Collo, he's involved with his Phil Collo is recorded, confessed, and demonstrated by a whole bunch of natures of courts and stuff like that. Involved with them with the child sex offenders, my name criminally, fake conversations with me. Two Mendez police involved with them criminally, with people associated with this Samuel Dix houses around it. Justin Levinskis recorded, demonstrated, confessed. He's involved also with racketeering with them, with people associated with the fire departments, houses next to them, people associated with Tom Peruta. These are people associated with the Leahy family, racketeering with the Peruta family, other Russian families, other overt criminal enterprises with racketeering with them, prosecutors, with judges, with the drug cliques. Let's get go. Let's get it down. CCSU. Let's get down. Connecticut Bridges, get the hell out. It's time. Respond now. Who disbelieves this? Have them pick one name in sequence. So we have also CNN recorded, confessed, and demonstrated involved with the intelligence community with racketeering roles leading up to and in the Trade Center attack. And since they have election crime roles, they have criminal uses of the identity of value that color is, which is in demonstration of the value of our invisible but still discernible Trinity value, with sequence true and beyond that too. No, I'm not just saying 5 semi-majors, 3 semi. This is science actual. See, we have identity racketeering natures originally still. That's why they pretend that they're not involved with that, with the logistical racketeering. So what do they have to do? Oh, let's pretend let's pretend we believe the impositions of the fake science and the sick formal, fake care and stuff upon people stacking in Hartford, let alone New York City. Let alone, this is where George Washington had to come and leave, even with the French general's help. He could only semi-Catholic extort that, which he had to leave with overt slavery using color. And with laws that were slavery laws against every single person. They had laws that forced everyone to speak, theater, pretend positive other. Every day, sustain that. Not by accident that's recorded, but we don't have that known because we have that obfuscated, because we have self-valued. They need to pretend to be against prejudice because these are high predators against the north end of Hartford with their roles and uses of murder spots, of murderers, of overt criminal enterprises, of private ones originally still recorded but uncharged, because we need free speech now. All Bob and Fall, CT, it's all on and off the state judicial branch offices, also with the findings of family, a whole bunch of other men and women interbranch involved with the child sex offenders, including women doctors. Because they're just worried about their jobs and their misprision criminality with this racketeering method where everyone speaks through others and they're communicating other than when they actually communicate. Have them pick one name and sequence into branch and all them private tied to them. We need the state's attorney's office, also federal stewardships of that. We need federal stewardship of the state prison offices. They also have black and white cliques where they're forging names, switching names, and involved with the racketeering, with the vertical and horizontal database racketeering. They should have responded to what I recorded when I was a kid, before they had all those people in DACA involved with this DeMoro family, Iowa family, all the people on and off Trinity College and CCSU with racketeering acts rolls with them, forging names, switching names. Then they arrest people to pretend things happened, illusions, switching the names of the officers, attaching me to a fake locations, fake conversations, fake ties to this Detective Samuda, recorded, confessed, and demonstrated racketeering roles with child sex offenders and with judges, forging names, switching names with them, with doctors with that. You know how many sick people are tied to these courts? We have East Hartford, a whole bunch of people through time involved with, since I was a kid, involved as ones now adults, involved further racketeering with other people's kids. Get down. I'll gather round. Come on, I want to respond to the rape threats made against me too by using New Britain Superior Court when they were forcing the principal sex offenders. See, we have further the policing of the campuses that's involved with racketeering with the agencies. We have further houses in my area further involved with them criminally with the witness protection program, per the same natures of criminal enterprises that state police had with their family members, that Wethersfield police had with their family members since before they were police. As mail crime rolls, wire crime rolls, crimes against kids' educations, playing games with databases. Then they're going to walk after they have a conversation that doesn't make sense. Then they're going to walk away from there. They're going to walk a different location. Someone's going to be sitting there. Then they're going to have a conversation with them. The years later, they're going to pretend they know them because they said something out while they walked by. This is This is tied to them with racketeering methods, with evidences preventing free speech, forcing everyone to speak through others, having them forge names, switch names, make confessions. No, confessions. They're preventing religions from having free speech. They're preventing religions from having integrity. They have religious spots also recorded, confessed, and demonstrated. We're involved with the various natures of campuses, not just educational campuses, fire campuses, medical campuses, as the ones involved further in town, with the connections between the principal sex offenders campus then and now, further with child offenders. There are also crime methods of forcing people to speak through others, even their family members, and so they can pretend to hear things. So they can torture families. They can torture individuals. So they can torture groups not to say anything and stack up all fake words attached to themselves. These are all kinds of evidence crime natures within the Britain Superior Court through time. They have no integrity. They're also recorded WFSB, Mr. Pettis. I believe that's your name, or one of your clients, a guy with a ponytail. You were in the Britain Superior Court one time. A guy who looked like that. Otherwise, with more than one time is when I was in there, which was recorded, confessed, and demonstrated. I was brought there criminally through time. Now, as one's involved further with child sex offenders and further with the policing of the schools, real criminally involved here. Well, I see my area. I shouldn't have to beg. Now I want the fixed news. Fake news. WFSB attached me to fake locations, fake words, fake ties to others, fake sequence relationships. These are your racketeering roles with Trade Center Predicate Act clicks, mail crimes, wire crimes, as ones further involved with Sandy Hook criminally. further involved with behavior crimes, further incapable of speaking about other people's emotions and passions. Your delusions wrong. And it's way worse. Now I'm asking again. You guys are recorded using the phones to threaten child sexual medical crime acts not told on. They forced it. It got caught anyway with the principal sex offender. More then and now are tied to that campus and the other campuses and the policing of them. All rise! We need federal stewardships now. I need to have a citizen's arrest. I tell it best. The Attorney General will have to be my arm here. Who does, please? Even the Attorney General. Please, pick one name in sequence. This is what we have to do to stop all the racketeering. You know, we have all kinds of bad things, boxing. We have all kinds of intercultural, interreligious cliques. Everyone's speaking to others. Then they want to pretend. Then they want to make opinions about others. Pretend that's true. We have no integrity with what's in the databases. Shouldn't have to beg here. Criminal uses of Oprah Winfrey, of Barack Obama, right through his administration, right as the only help allowed him. Criminal use of black in our face. Criminal use of what is native. What is native, pure alone, evolves, reveals evolution's fruits and gifts. What is not native, pure alone, enforces negative value nature, progression, action, nature, and demonstration of it, as we'll see. All rise! For real. They're lying. If you raise your voice, they're lying. These are people using forcing aggression sickly. They're preventing calm free speech to counters to the degenerate men and women working with the courts, working with the prisons tied to them, with their family members, involved overt criminal enterprises together, royal sick delusions run natures. They want to start fights with people because they need to pretend that we had conversations. State's attorneys confessed, recorded to me and others. They forged names, switched names, mail crime rules, wire crime rules. Who denies this? Get them on paper. Who wants to be a hero? Who wants to be real? Admit it. Put it on paper too. Let's go. There's a lot more. Half the time, they know there's a lot more I can demonstrate and reveal here. All rise. Be child. It's time. So it tells you to respond to recorded child crime action methods. You respond, you move. You don't cover that up. Get down, Wethersfield Police Chief. Respond. You're recorded and confessed by your own officers. Your own daughters involved criminally. Respond right now, motherfucker. We're gonna do this calmly. We're not gonna play your fucking games or your rape threats, motherfucker. How do you think I'm gonna respond to that, motherfucker? You and the fucking New Britain Superior Court rape threats. All these people with KNERR name, KERR name, recorded, confessed, and demonstrated racketeering rules with CCSU Trinity College. I had nothing to do with that family. I bet they sought me out. I barely know them. Now they're in a corner trap with this Iowa family, with judges real sick users criminal of CCSU, of Trinity College. And from there, before you can tell them that, they make more confessions with the little red mouth click child sex offenders with my area. That brought this show. All that is tied. Since before the Trade Center attack in a straight line, my identity was stolen from people who recorded, confessed, and demonstrated, asked me for help for that stuff.
Ask other people to me for that stuff. And then they lie about it. They can't do it on paper. Get them to a name in sequence.